Hi, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Body Mind Living magazine, where we are navigating boundaries. Woot woot. It's so fun, right? So, this month's topic, navigating boundaries, is one of my favorites. And it's also one of the most challenging articles I've written to this point. In fact, I found myself really having to take a breath in a moment to really get to the root of what boundaries are, what they mean to me, and how that got me started on my path, on my journey, really, of creating time and space for me. In fact, this is such a popular topic with my clients, right? Like, this is usually when I meet people, just talking and having conversations, or when people come to meet and work with me, this is usually an area of where, like, how do I create more time for me? How do I put myself into my schedule, right? How do I do this? And maybe there's some time in the future when I'll have more time for myself to follow my dreams, to create my dreams, to even feel and think and feel into what it is that I desire for myself. What are my goals, dreams, and visions? Like, what does an ideal day look like for me, right? And the place where it all began was, for me, was boundaries, right? Like, this space of holding my precious time and energy, and safeguarding my precious time and energy, and giving some of it to me. I mean, I was really good, and still am really good, at giving it to others, right? And I'm sure that this is true for you as well. Of, like, we're really good at giving our time, and, like, oh, let me help you with this, and let me help you with that, and that's amazing and wonderful that we get to to do these things. And what would it look like to give yourself some of that time and space just for you to really honor and safeguard? I call them sacred boundaries. That's for me, has really been this little reframe of where, like, boundaries sound so hard and forceful and heavy and restrictive, and this is the line, and but sacred boundaries is a way that I was able to just reframe it and help me remember what the boundary is actually for, right? It was like for my sacred space to connect to myself, to receive guidance, intuition, right? In this space of just pausing and taking some time for myself, and whatever that looks like. I mean, I could talk about this topic all day, right? I even have, when my clients first come to work with me, like, the first thing we do in one of my group programs is it's a bonus. It's literally like, let's create time and space for you. This is where we're starting. I teach them how to safeguard their time and their sacred boundaries on their calendars, right? Like, this is where we really dive in and we really get in there and really start to create time and space for people. So I really wanted to give you some practical tools that you could really use to get started, because I know that, like, when we're reading an article or when we're learning something, like, this sounds amazing, right? But it might be hard to get started without knowing, like, where to start. So I'm going to share with you where I got started and how this then began to really make a difference for me in my life. So where I got started was, I got started with saying no. I know, right? Like, all these things are probably coming up of like, I can't say no, right? Like, this is another popular thing that I hear from my clients. Like, I can't say no. Like, I want to say no, but in the moment, I don't know what to say, so I say yes. And before I know what's even out of my mouth, the yes is already out, and I feel that instant regret of, why did I say that? I don't want to do that. That's not what I want to be doing. That was especially when, doesn't it always seem like, or maybe you can relate to this, of like when we get some time for ourselves, like we're actually going to have like an hour or maybe even 30 minutes, right? And then in comes a person that's like, oh, could you help me with blah, 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 and it's in those 30 minutes or 60 minutes that just freed up for you, right? I call those the little universe nudges, the universe asking you, are you sure? And giving you an opportunity to practice and safeguard and honor that sacred boundary. So we're going to come back to where I got started and how, and it might be hard at first, but it's honestly the place to start is by saying no. And I want to just bring this up front, is saying no with love, saying no with compassion, saying no with 100% confidence, right? Going into situations prepared, knowing, setting the intention really, and knowing and having the words, the sentences, the phrases for when someone asks you something, to give that space for you to pause, feel, and then respond. And notice I said respond and not react, right? Like, because that yes, 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 like that's the react. The respond. When we come back into our body, take a moment to pause. Notice what comes up. I know that in the article I shared that, like sometimes people ask me, well, how do I know my boundaries are being crossed? And it's like, my answer is always, your body will tell you. So, and when someone's asking you, like, how like when you say yes and then there's like that instant regret, or like it's out, like yes, it's out before you even know what happened. And like that your stomach just drops, and like maybe even knows your shoulders, and you're just like, just that, like that is how your boundaries are being crossed. That's your body communicating with you and letting you know. So something that really helped me was, how do I communicate and say no? So what I did is I created a little bonus for you, and you're going to see it in the bottom of, right underneath this video, in the little transcript there. You can go ahead and click that, because I give you 10 ways to say no with love and compassion and confidence. And so you can just keep these little phrases in your back pocket. And they're so cool because some of the ones that I've given you, you can, when you use them, it's going to benefit other people. And you're going to see what I mean when you get in there. And it really like allows you to free up your time and space, and it allows other people to possibly be able to support. It allows for connection. There's some really good ones in there. But I also wanted to share, I brought my little handy dandy board here today, because I wanted to include this in my article, but I couldn't like get the image just right. So I was like, you know what, we'll start into the video. So I wanted to share with you, when I was reading my article, something that came up for me. And it was when I wrote the word no. Okay, can everybody see that? I don't know, let me get a different color. Okay, when I wrote the word no. Oh, is it backwards? Oh, crappers. Hold on, I'm going the wrong way. Oh. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to pull this down. Okay. Okay, so it's backwards, but you're going to get the idea. And there goes my pen. Okay. So, so as you can see, no. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this back down. Okay. And good, the O is showing. This is the most important part that I want you to see. Okay. And then there's the no. Okay, yeah, I did it. Okay, we got there. Okay. Look at what you're doing here with the O. Look at all that space that's being created. Look at the lines that they're like the actual container edge, right? And then I'm just going to draw. Don't mind my little drawings. Okay. And there's you. on the inside. My whole body just like, woo, just like took that deep exhale, right? Because like, look at this. You are safely held inside with your inside the sacred boundary. You've got all this space here for you to really, do what it is that you want to, maybe it's a dream and scheme. Maybe there's, maybe it's that yoga class that you've really been wanting to get to. Maybe it's, I don't know, fill in the blank of what would be something if you had 30 or 60 minutes for yourself, right? Where you created a boundary, a sacred boundary around your time for you, right? What would you do? Right. And I want you to really keep this visual with you of I know it's backwards, but it says no, right? And then in the O is you. And you are within, it's like this container, right? And that is just for you. Saying no gives you the ability to do that. Like that's the power of no, right? That's the power of no. That's the place to start in getting boundaries into place, in safeguarding your time. And it's also the place that I know it's a difficult thing. We're afraid we're going to let people down. We're afraid we're going to disappoint people. We're going to be afraid that like, what if somebody needs something, right? Like, I know I have a code with my mom when she calls, like if I can't answer the phone, we created a code. She'll leave me a message if it's an emergency, right? So then I know, I mean, it takes 5 seconds to leave a message and I'm going to be like, boom, I need to, talk with my mom. Like that's how, these are those little things like that you get to use to safeguard your time. So there's another little bonus tidbit for you of ways that you can do that. But really, creating this time for you. And I hope that you really enjoy the article where we talk more about sacred boundaries, where we talk more about, I share a really great story because boundaries are everywhere. Okay. They're not just in our personal life. They're not just in our relationships. They're in our work. They're in our, daily life with our neighbors. They're everywhere. There's boundaries everywhere. They're not just fences. They're not just stages where the stage ends and the audience begins. Boundaries are everywhere. They ebb and they flow. You get to change them. You get as you grow and as you make changes. But I hope that you really remember this, the power of what that no gives you when you create and protect you and create at the same time, you're protecting the sacred space, you're protecting you, and you're creating space for you. So I hope that you enjoy this month's article and yay, I'll see you soon.
This is Body Mind Living with Laura Wick. Thanks for watching.